A very good afternoon to all you grade 9 English first additional language students out there. Today we are dealing with the second part of our course on spelling patterns. And you'll probably remember the first part of the course. This one will round it off very nicely for you. And of course, it is being presented by me. Let's go straight into just a reminder of the letters of the alphabet. You have the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. You have the consonants, which is basically all the other letters except the semivowel, which is Y. It can serve as both a vowel or a consonant. Now, here is the definition of a syllable, basic sound unit of any of speech, or units of pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants. Okay, now that's very complex. I just use basic sound unit of speech, which is my own definition for it. And you'll see lots of examples of numbers of syllables. I mean, the word syllable itself is a 3-syllable word. Syllable. But we'll look into this in a lot more detail now. Now, here we go. Some more general spelling rules. Now, when the letter G is followed by E, I, or Y, it is pronounced as a J. Otherwise, it forms a hard sound as in gold, G. All right, let's just take a look at a few examples of this now. The examples speak far more than the rules do. Okay, here you have G-E, gentle, G-I, giant, G-Y, gymnastic. Okay, easy as that. And here's some examples of the hard G. You've got here gallon, or guide, or glass, or grow. Right, just like that, very simple. However, there are exceptions, and here they are. You've got get, begin, go, give, gear, gift, geese, girth. All of those are hard G's. They don't follow the standard spelling rule. Now, if a word ends in the letter O preceded by a consonant, add ES to form the plural. Now here are some examples. You see that? Potato, it's the letter O preceded by a consonant, so you add to that ES. Right. Volcanoes, O preceded by the consonant N, you add ES. Torpedoes, O preceded by the consonant D, ES. Mangoes, O preceded by the consonant G. And you know, with my knowledge of Afrikaans, which I also have, I am forever tempted to pronounce this as mangoes. I don't know why. It just seems so very logical. But please, you don't do it. It's mangoes, and it's spelled with an ES on the end. And then, of course, tomatoes, a very commonly encountered word in English, especially if you are a kitchen lover, as I am. So it's TOES. Then, your three exceptions, pianos, which is originally an Italian word, as is solo. Piano means soft, and solo means alone. So because they're Italian, they don't change. And then, of course, you've got the proper noun, Eskimos. And again, that is not an English word, so it doesn't follow the rule. Right. Let's move on to or, O-R, after a W. And it normally changes the pronunciation to Okay, let's take a look at this. There you've got worm, work, worth, worst, worship. Right. So that's your adherence to the rule. Here are, of course, the exceptions. In English, don't worry, there's an exception to almost every rule. Now, this is not worry, it's worry. And, of course, the past tense, worried. And it is not war, it's war. And past tense, worn. All right. Now, here's an interesting one. The word women, which is the plural of woman, is pronounced as women in order to distinguish it from its singular form. Otherwise, they sound exactly the same. If we pronounce it as it's written, both woman plural and woman singular have exactly the same sound. So when it is in the plural form, women, as opposed to woman, when it's in the plural form, you must pronounce it as women. Okay, please remember that rule. Good. I before E except after C, a very common rule in English, with some exceptions, of course. But you'll see it's normally when the pronunciation is the E sound. Let's take a look at examples. There you have it. Brief, field, and priest. Right, there's your IE with the E sound. Also, you have, now after the C, it's now EI. Receive, deceive, or sealing. All three of those. That's I before E except after C. However, you have exceptions. And in most cases of the exceptions, the pronunciation of the EI is a sort of an A sound. Let's take a look at the list. You got here way, neither or neither, foreign, sovereign, seized, weird, counterfeit, forfeited, or actually just pronounced forfeited. You don't stress that syllable. Leisure or neighbor. Right, some of your common exceptions there. Let's move on. And now we go to more than one syllable ends with the letter T and preceded by a single vowel, double the T if the stress is on the final syllable. And that's very complicated, but the examples will explain it very clearly for you. You see that? Now, you pronounce that word regret. Notice the stress is on the second syllable. The first syllable is not stressed, so it's regret. In that case, double the T and add ED. Regretted. Okay, another example here. Admit or admitted. Right? Omit, omitted. You see the stress in this case on the second syllable. The second syllable, so it's omitted. And you double the T. However, this is it the other way around when the stress is not on the final syllable. Let's take a look at a few examples. This will explain it very clearly. Now this one, the word is pronounced as edit. You see, the second syllable is not stressed. So when we put it into the past tense, it becomes edited. You don't double the T because it's not a stressed syllable. Another example, visit, visited. You don't double the T because the stress is not on the final syllable. Okay, limit and limited. Again, you don't double the T. If you did double the T, it would be limited. And there's no such word in English. Sorry about that. And then, of course, also, this is a much longer word, benefit. Okay, benefited. And again, no stress on that final syllable. Good, moving on. Now you've got your she sounds. Okay, they're most commonly used to create the sound sh at the beginning of all syllables except the first. Okay, so here you've got national, patient, palatial, infectious. Right, some classic examples. Here's some more. Gracious, ancient, musician, financial. And now with the S's, session, admission, mansion, division. Okay, that one is zh sound, slightly harder, but it's very similar. Then you've got the words ending in a single L after a single vowel. Then you have to double it, double the L before adding a suffix. regardless of accent. This one's a bit confusing. Now this one, the word is cancel. But even though the stress is not on the silbit, it becomes doubled. This is because it's going back to Old English. So now it becomes cancelled, but you've got two L's instead of just one. Sorry, this is an awkward rule to learn. It doesn't make sense. It just is. And you've got there travel. You see the stress is on the first syllable. And traveler. Even though the stress is not on the second syllable, you still double the L. Okay. Signal, signaling. Okay. Double L. And of course, metal, metallic. Now in this case, it does actually change the stress to the second syllable there. So it's metallic. But well, that's just the rule that you have to learn. Okay, those are words to which this rule applies. That's all I have for you today. But just before I go, let me leave you with this lovely, fun task. It's, as usual, a multiple choice question test. And give it a go. You're probably going to have a lot of fun. And it's very satisfying when you get all the bits and bobs and bits and pieces correct. So please give it a try, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for listening. Sorry that spelling in English is so difficult. It simply is. English spelling is not easy.